Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com and I'm here with the Virgo May horoscope. What a big month we're all having in May. There's so much going on. Okay, firstly, something that's really going to affect you is Mercury going retrograde in Gemini. And so, this could bring up miscommunications, misunderstandings. It's not a good time to sign contracts. You might find glitches with technology. However, it is a great time to finish anything that you started but you didn't get to finish. Mercury often likes to go back to the past. So you might hear news about people you used to know, or you might hear, maybe there's a school reunion or some news about an ex-partner or something like that. The dates are from the 10th of May to the 3rd of June, but there's a thing called a shadow period. So you need to add a few days, maybe 5 to 10 days either side, depending on which astrology you talk to, but just say, if it's the 10th really after the 3rd, say 7 days, then it's not the best time to sign contracts or important documents, okay? And then add that week on to the end of it, so it'll be the 10th of June. Things should improve. That's the first thing, okay? Jupiter's changing signs and houses as well, and there's also a lunar eclipse in Scorpio on the 16th. Australia and New Zealand only are having a partial solar eclipse. That's in Taurus, in the 9th house. So if you live in Australia or New Zealand, you could be very much interested in traveling, especially long distance traveling involving foreign cultures, or maybe study or spirituality. The 9th house is the house of the higher mind, and it's like you want to grow your mind, even if it's just through flights of fancy and what you're thinking. If you can't actually travel overseas, you might just be planning a trip down the tracks somewhere. Pluto went retrograde on the 29th of April until the 9th of October. It's in Capricorn. You might find, if you've been doing the hard yards lately, you might find that you have a sense of relief or a sense of reprieve because it's going retrograde, and so things could slow down, especially those really deep compelling type feelings, or if you're in an abusive situation or involved with a narcissist or something like that, there could be some change there. So a lot of the tough stuff sort of probably calms down a little bit for many people. So as you can see, there's a lot of significant energy shifts this month going on. Now, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards as a month for you. Then I'll look at your horoscope in depth. And if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, let's go to the board and have a look at what's going on. The cards first. Let's see. Oh, okay. So that one flew out of my hands and I didn't even get to close my eyes. Okay, the Hermit. It's time for some isolation, time to look within. I know there's a lot happening in the world at the moment, and perhaps, especially if you're sensitive or feeling vulnerable in any way, it's time to sort of shield yourself from what's going on out there because it's pretty horrific. And so look at yourself, all right? Sometimes we can't do anything about other circumstances, things that are happening on the macro level, but we can always look at ourselves and change what's within us and how we feel about situations that have happened in the past. You are the light of the world, okay? And you actually make your own light, and you do that by looking within and becoming aware and insightful about everything that's going on inside you. Now you see this wolf here, this denotes learning and also perhaps teaching later on. If you have a look here in your horoscope, you can see there's a lot of activity here in your 9th house, which is all about the higher mind, learning and teaching. You can see down here in the third house there's a bit of activity and a lunar eclipse there as well. So, you know, study might be the name of the game for you, dear Virgo. Okay, that's the first half of the month. So you could do a course or some sort of retraining, something like that. Or perhaps you want to teach people down the track and do create your own courses perhaps. All right, let's have a look now at the second half of the month and see what comes up. Okay, we'll go with that one. Closing my eyes now. The door, there's a door here in front of me. Oh, it's just a bit to the side. It is closing, okay, and then it turns into a ship, like out on the ocean. I want to say it's out on the Atlantic Ocean for some reason, and it's making good headway. The wind is very strong, but the ship is moving very quickly and getting somewhere. So I feel that this is about you emotionally getting somewhere in life. And even though there's some turbulent circumstances in the outside world, and, you know, that's not pleasant and your subconscious is being affected by that, you're making great spiritual progress at the same time. The card that comes up is the Eight of Swords. Okay, so this is a situation where you felt restricted, maybe even dominated for some reason, okay? And sometimes this is our own thoughts that do this to us. This is the Eight of Swords. Swords is about thinking, okay? So this is a time to get free from all of the useless thoughts or the damaging or hurtful thoughts that we have. So I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to do better, you know, I'm in this mess because I created it and it's my fault, and all of that kind of stuff that goes on. It's not helpful. In a way, although this looks extremely uncomfortable, horrible, awful, in a way it's good because you're becoming aware of just how restricted you've been in a situation, okay? Maybe it's a relationship, somebody telling you what to do all the time. That's one of my pet hates. I hate that so much. Maybe it's a job that you really can't put up with anymore. It's like there's an authority figure who is dictating to you what you're going to do, think, say, and yeah, that's just not good enough. This is time to free yourself from crisis, because you do deserve better than this. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look at another card. Okay, sometimes it's even an addiction, where, you know, we could be addicted to, humans get addicted to any manner of things, you know, large numbers of things. And so sometimes it's an addiction that controls us. It might be eating, alcohol, sex, work, any number of things. Okay, so I need another card to clarify. Let's go with that one. All right, so it's nearly the end of a hard, long slog. This woman has been working so hard for so long. She believed in something. She was passionate about something. She thought it was going to work out. She did the hard yards, and now she's just about exhausted. And you can see she's wearing green, and there's also a lot of green here in the background. There's also hills in the background, so it's like climbing a mountain, this huge challenge to overcome, and she's done that, and she's just about exhausted as a result. Okay, but the good news is that even though it's felt oppressive and there's a burden weighing on your shoulders, it's coming to the end of that cycle. You can decide now, because it's like you've learnt something. You don't have to continue on in that space if you don't wish to. Okay, so it's a 1 and a 0, the 10, so a new beginning, but there's some patience required. It's, you know, not happening immediately, but it is happening. And you'll see all of these baseball bats in here. This is about taking action. She's been, you know, pulling these around with her. So you decide when it's time to take action about something you used to feel passionate and motivated about, but it's come to the end. And maybe that's what you're restricted by, that old situation. All right, so bear those cards in mind. We're going to have a look now. I'm going to make this bigger for you so that you can see. I'll put that up like that, maybe like that. All right, so the cards. I don't know, it's hard to see everything, but anyway, you get the gist. Alrighty. Okay, so this is a very public chart. Be careful because things could become public this month in May. There's a lot going on in the top of the chart, okay? Careful not to overshare on social media. Your ruler, Mercury, retrograde in your 10th, and then it goes back into your 9th houses. So career is indicated, or your life mission. If you're not on your life mission, and how you'll know is you'll just know 100% certainty. If you're not sure, then you're not on it. So you might be approaching it, you might be close, but you haven't hit it exactly if you're not sure. Okay, and so that's what the 10th house is about. Sometimes it's about authority figures, including parents, and particularly the mother figure as well. And it's possible that you could be restricted by an authority figure, including your parents, perhaps your mother, okay? Or perhaps the authority figure is somebody that you work with or work for, even still. And you might be working very hard, Is it time to leave your current position? Because there is a thing going on called the Great Resignation. I would advise you to think very carefully, of course. You don't want to have to be in a situation of then going back at a later date. I see it all the time, to be quite honest. Okay, so Mercury retrograding means that things slow down a little bit. There could be some confusion, could be miscommunications, technology plays up. I talked about that before. Lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your 3rd house here. I'll talk about that in a moment. And Jupiter changes signs going into Aries in your 8th house of joint resources and intimacy. So there could be some sort of enlargement or growth in joint resources or intimacy. Perhaps there's a possibility of a relationship going to a deeper level. Alrighty, let's now have a look at this in depth. 1st of May, partial solar eclipse for Australia and New Zealand only in the 9th house here. If you're in another country, the US or UK, Europe, then you would have had this on the 30th of April, okay? You've already, because you're a sort of, what happens with Australia, New Zealand and some Pacific Islands, we're ahead in time and you're behind in time if you're in those countries, basically. So the desire to go on a mini vacation or get away is very strong. And if you can get away, it would be fabulous to do so, even if it's only like for a weekend. That could help. You could also, be putting things into perspective in your mind, sorting things out in your mind, getting an overview of how you spend your time and what is it worth it what you're doing now in terms of your time, or do you have to change things and tweak things? The 1st of May to the 28th of May sees Venus going into your 8th house. This is fabulous for intimacy, rejuvenating a relationship, especially a relationship that's been going for a very long time, as some sort of energy comes in where you feel younger, or maybe your partner feels younger. It's also great for business affairs, joint financial arrangements, or you could meet a benefactor through friends or in a social sort of environment. You're likely to get some sort of emotional support at the moment, and somebody wants a deeper union, which is great, maybe, yeah. 1st of May to the 11th of May, Jupiter conjuncts Venus. This is fabulous, again, for relationships And if you wanted to buy something but you couldn't bring yourself to buy it because you thought, it was too expensive, but you really wanted it, you probably buy it now because the urge to splurge is very strong under this influence. It's not the best influence for dieting, I must tell you, so go easy on the cakes and pies because Venus loves sweet things, okay? It is a great time for socialising, especially things, like celebrations or things of a festive type of nature. These things are going to turn out better than you expected, and especially if you decide to throw your own party, okay? There's fun to be had, basically. Do what you don't splurge too much money on your party or going out. But if the things that you buy, you're likely to also get some sort of bonus or a gift. And there's a bit of a lucky streak around you that can bring unexpected benefits. But yeah, don't overspend. 15th of May to the 27th of October sees Jupiter going into your 8th house, which I talked about before, brings fortunate developments in business or through your mate's help and support. Both emotional and financial support is likely to occur now. You could maybe join forces with like-minded people and accomplish something with your group resources. And on an inner level, there's likely to be some sort of rejuvenation and healing going on, positive change. It's a great time for you to get rid of old patterns, old conditioning and negative self-talk, basically. So something's happening in your life which is going to bring a general improvement to your way of living. 16th of May sees a lunar eclipse in Scorpio here in your 3rd house, which is fabulous for promotions, chit-chatting, socialising, dealing with neighbours, and maybe somebody from the past comes back, or maybe some distant family members you hear about. It can be turbulent. I mean, there's more energy here. It can be a bit turbulent, but just know that it's only for a few days. So probably if you feel upset about anything, maybe just think about it. You don't have to react immediately. 13th of May to the 24th of May, Jupiter sextiles Mercury, which is retrograde. There's likely to be some long-distance communications and business dealings, but you want to make sure you get everything in writing. If you're on a phone call to someone talking about business or something important, it probably cut out. Yeah, so technology does get rather affected. There's probably a lot going on to do with work or career. Normally it's a great time to advertise, publish, or engage in mass media, but you should double check everything because with Mercury retrograde there can be some miscommunications. The other thing here is quite often you can sort of rise above whatever it is. It's likely you're going to get your goals to be successfully completed, but there'll be a few glitches with it, basically. From the 19th of May to the 21st of June, the Sun goes into the 10th house here, bringing a lot of insight and awareness around your career, maybe your reputation, your role in the community, and your contribution to the world. And it can also, because this is the house of authority figures, sometimes you get insights into how your parents, what they were thinking, or how somebody who's in a position of authority, what their thoughts are or their plans, okay? But you're likely to get some sort of recognition for your efforts, and there's likely to be some sort of accomplishment. If you're not working, then there'll be some realization about the direction of your life, letting you know if you're on the right track or not, okay? It is a great time to ask for a promotion or engage the support of other people who can help you. From the 22nd of May to the 13th of June, Mercury is retrograde in your 9th house. So Mercury was here in the 10th house, and it looks like it's going backwards. It doesn't actually go backwards, okay? And so it's a great time to make plans to go on a trip, but maybe reconsider, if you can, going on a trip during Mercury retrograde, because sometimes, especially if there's multiple legs involved, you run late on one and then it affects the whole journey, basically. But it is a good time to be exposed to foreign ideas and concepts or exotic things. And maybe you can plan to go to another country in the future. This is the house of higher learning. So again, there's a fair bit about study or enlarging your life in some way, maybe through your spirituality. 20th of May to the 24th of May sees Mercury retrograde squaring your ascendant. You could be really busy and active now, but don't go too fast. And you just want to balance your life a little bit more, because there could be a tendency to be rushing into things. So you need to double check everything with Mercury retrograde, okay? Could be feeling a little bit anxious or nervous or maybe even irritable, okay? Go for a walk is my advice for that. 22nd of May to the 26th of May, Mercury sextiles Venus, bringing... and it's retrograde again, so do watch for miscommunications in relationships. You probably don't want to, get involved with really heavy discussions. Try and keep things light. Reading is also, it's a great time for that. Stay home or have some time out and, read. And we have 24th of May to the 28th of May, Mercury retrograde sextiling Jupiter. You're probably feeling a bit more optimistic and hopeful. You can probably see connections and possibilities where you might have overlooked them in the past. You're probably communicating with a lot of enthusiasm, but if it's important, do communicate in writing. It's a time for sharing your plans and dreams, and if you can communicate them in a very measured way, that's probably okay. Otherwise, if you sort of blurt it all out really quickly, people might not understand you properly. If you have contracts, negotiations and business dealings, maybe if you can put off signing a contract until Mercury turns direct, that would be a good idea. But if not, you probably have to come back and revisit the contract in some way. 27th of May to the 22nd of June, Venus moves into your 9th house here. This is fabulous. Can bring a lot of peace and beauty into your life. You're attracted to foreign cultures and to art and exotic sorts of experiences, and it's just a great time for a vacation. So it goes to the 22nd of June, so maybe after Mercury turns direct on the 3rd of June, you might want to go then. It's also great for your spirituality. You find out new things and you just broaden your outlook on life. 27th of May to the 9th of June, Mercury retrograde up to the 3rd of June. This is conjuncting your MC, and you're probably going to make some decisions. It might be a bit confusing at first, but gradually it'll come clear. You'll become aware of what your next step in life is to be, okay? And with all of this going on up here in the chart, your life direction is bound to get some sort of tweaks or something like that. There could be some sort of important professional conference or conversation with somebody in authority about your career if you're working, and it's just an excellent time to seek out people who can help you. All right, so that's it. I seem to be stuck there again. I don't know why that happens. So we'll go back to the board. So this is your horoscope for May. Vivacious Virgo, there's a lot going on, but yeah, I feel really positive and quite excited for you. Once you get over Mercury retrograde, things will be going really smoothly. So use that time that Mercury is retrograde, use it for planning and thinking about what can you do to change your life for the better, how to make it more positive for you. Okay, have a wonderful month, everyone. If you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Catch you later. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.